In this video, we will talk about the cumulative layout shift, which is one of the vital part of Core Web Vital. And this metric is all about the visual stability on your website. So it all depends on the shifts that happen whenever user load on your page or interact with your page. So it's all about the interactivity and visual stability on your website. So the thing is, it is actually the vital part of your technical SEO and also the ranking factor from the Google side. So basically, to explain this part, have you ever reading an article when something suddenly changes on the page without any warning, like the text moves and you have lost all your place? Or even worse, you are about to tap a link or a button, but instant before your fingers lands, boom, the link moves and you end up clicking something else. That's a big red flag from Google. But why does it matter? It obviously matter for Google to secure all the users that visit your page from their search engine. So if you have some visually instability on your website, then obviously Google won't rank it anywhere. So if you have such animations applied on your links or something like that, you should consider lower that down, because it is indeed a red flag for your website. So you are going to learn so much in this video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please click that red button, because you are going to learn so much about technical SEO, backlinking, digital marketing as a whole in this particular channel. So let's get started. So as you can see a video here which is taken from the documentation of Google, as they have demonstrated that the order confirmation, whenever someone click order confirmation, but no, you have changed your mind and you want to click on no go back, and it doesn't change anything, but order get placed. So that's a pretty red flag for Google. So that's why Google need to trust your website about such shift it happens on your website. So there are hacker and there are website that take your private information and something like that. To combat this, there's a ranking factor which is cumulative shift layout. So talking about the good CLS score, it is up to 0.1 and need improvement up to 0.25, as you can see in the screen over. So how to calculate cumulative layout display? You can go to the web.dev, measure it like we used to do that in the previous video, or you can go to the pagespeed.web.dev like this, and here you just enter your website and you will see everything about your page speed plus the three metrics of Core Web Vital like here. But if you are a Google Search Console, then you go to your property and go to Core Web Vital, and there you will find your report on your websites, vulnerabilities, errors like here 39. Go to URLs here, 39 URLs need improvement from the mobile part, and on the desktop it's all good. So that's what you need to apply and rectify your website accordingly. So if you have a poor URLs, then you need to work on it immediately, because it impact swiftly on your website score on search engine. So now going back to the page speed and cumulative layout shift display, or you can also use any other tools like GTmetrix or web page test or something like that. It all depends on your preference, but I prefer to use page speed insight because it's everything I want. So now how to find various aspects that impact on your CLS score. And if you just click on the past audits here, or just click on it, any error or diagnostics you may have occurred like here, you will see a tag to each and every score to it, like FCP is about the first contextual paint and LCP is largest contextual paint. So these are the things that affect on this particular metric or vital. So that's how you need to find. Like here, if I click on the avoid larger layout shift, it says these DOM elements contribute most of the CLS of the page. So that is about the CLS scores. We can improve that by, do you want to improve your website ranking, and it is a H class, but it also have a class with a banner header, so there is a DOM element attached to it. So we can simplify that by adding more CSS to it, less JavaScript to it. So that's how you can score higher for CLS. So now talking about what factors that affect CLS and cause a low score. First is visual stability. So for the visual stability part, it's all about what you see right on your screen, right? And for that part, first is the images and videos missing dimensions. So if Google doesn't know explicit image dimensions like a width and height on your website, then it is a red flag for them, because they don't want their user to visit a website that doesn't define the whole layout of their image and videos on their URL. So that's about it, without dimensions. So there's also another media that is about iframe, about ads. Okay, if you have ads installed on your website and it doesn't have any dimensions to it, then there's a red flag for you. So you need to add that adds dimensions like width and height. And second is web font that causes flash of unstyled text. Okay, so like flash of individual text. So there's a web font and it doesn't have any preloaded added to it, so you need to add a preload to your web fonts there. And the next will be dynamically injecting content like animation. So if you have animation on your website and it has more of a code of a JavaScript than CSS, so I suggest you to add a transform property more to it. As you know, CSS has a transform property to add animation to your website, so you should start adding that. And don't use DOM elements or don't use JavaScript more, just use CSS mode, such that it will tell the browser to the animation it has or dynamic changing content, it has a valid CSS property like transform. So there's also the intrusive ads, like you have ads installed on your website and it just changes, like a pop-up appear to it, like all those spammy websites, then it also affect that. So you need to have ads that placed nicely on your page and it has a valid spaces to it, valid border added to it. So if you don't know about this, then you will got to know in the upcoming session. So in this video we are going to talk about the WordPress and the non-WordPress user, how you can actually implement that on your website. So first is we are going to talk about the image and videos without dimensions. Like you are going to learn that in the upcoming videos, where we have talked about missing dimensions of images on my website. So here if you click on the past audits here, so here is image elements have explicit width and height, which is the past here. But let me give you, which is not past, let me give you an overview, like the tools section here, let it run. So here is the result, and here it gets image and elements do not have explicit width and height. So these are the images that doesn't have explicit width and height, so we need to add that to our page to resolve this particular issue. So it says it has a impact on CLS score, and to improve our CLS score we need to add explicit width and height. So how to do that? Just go to your theme or any PHP you're using right now, just go to your theme like that and search for the files that impact that particular page. As my page is about the tool section here, and I need to look up for the tool pages which is impact such website, and here it is tools.php. and now I will search for all the image that impacted on this. Let me search the image tag. Obviously, where is the image tag here? Okay, so there's the image tag. As you can see, the image source is there. This is the PHP code that retrieve icon from the database, and here is the alt section here. So I know I need to add explicit width and height to it to find the width and height of each tool. So if you want to find the image and height of this particular icon, just click on right inspect, click on the selector and mouse over this particular icon. So now as you can see, all width is about 70 by 70. So what does that mean? It means 70 is height, 70 is width, first is the width and then the height. So all is about 70 by 70. And now to add explicitity to it, let me just add a width tag to it, like 70px, which is a short abbreviation for pixel, and now height is 70px. So there you go, just click save. Now reload that page, let's see if everything is working fine. And now open again inspect element, just click on this. Just you need to find that if that particular code is being added. So yes, it is added. Let me just check on each and every element. So yeah, it's being added. So let's run this particular tool again. So it is performing diagnose performance issues. Let's see if we get a better score. Okay, so now as you can see, that particular error has been passed. If you click on the passed elements and where that is, yes, so elements have explicit width and height. So that's how you can resolve this particular issue on your page. Not this particular only, but you can also resolve it, not this particular only, you can resolve it for the iframes you use, or you can resolve it for the ads you use on your page. Should have a proper dimension added to it, proper width and height element to it. So be careful about it, you need to add that on your web pages. So talking about WordPress part, and for the WordPress part, what you need to do is go to that particular page you are currently auditing your website, and then you need to look for any image on your website like here. And if you see or add it as a HTML, you will see there's no dimensions being added to it, right? And to edit that, what you need to do is go to the block settings. Here is the large, here is add any dimensions to like 50%, 70%, 100%. so if I click on 75%, and if I edit HTML again, so it has added the width and height to it. So you need to add a dimension to each and every particular image. So if you have loads of images on your blog and you don't know how to correct each and every one method is obviously this. And for the rest, you should have a plugin called WP Rocket, which is awesome by the way, and it eliminates 90% of your Core Web Vital errors on your WordPress website, and it's super fast, super efficient, and low cost also. So go to the description in the link box and sign up for free account and download this particular plugin from there. And there, after the installation, you need to go to the media, and after the media you have image dimensions. Here you need to add missing image dimensions. Whenever new image you upload, it will add automatically. And there is a embed, or you can also disable the WordPress embed to improve your FCP. So that's about it. So all the image dimensions will be added here. So that's how you can improve your CLS score for the first part. And the second is, like we have talked about the fonts. Now we use web fonts, right? You have a different web fonts on your website, but we need to preload it, and the impact of this particular is very, very high. So if web fonts don't load faster, they cause a terrible user experience and affect the CLS grade. So best practice is to preload it. It tells the browser to load the fonts as one of the top priority resources. Obviously, if you paint a website, what does it mean? If a browser loads this particular website and it does not have a font that is preloaded, or have terrible fonts or default fonts, but it loaded later, shifts later, then it will cause a red flag for the Google. And for that, and to resolve this particular issue, we need to preload fonts. What is preloading font? Preloading font should add a link, or I would say a tag like preload to it. And how to do that? Suppose you have a code like this. Obviously, for the non-WordPress users, you have a code like this. You have a href to the font file, and you have a type of font, and there it is. And to preload it, you need to add a preload tag to it, just like this, link rel to preload. It tells browser to download this as fast as possible, such that it will not impact that much on your website. So this particular can be added to your CSS file also. So like here I have added this particular, which is cdnwp.com and /new fonts css. So in this particular, it has fonts which is being installed on my website, but I haven't added a preload to it. Neither I have a error of such in my page speed. How? Because I have pre-connected my CDN URL here. Like you can see, there is a pre-connect, so it tells browser to pre-connect this particular website and download those resources at the priority basis. And if you do that, if you have something like this on your website, then you can add the real relativity of pre-connect to your CSS file, just like this way. So cdn.webby.com is being linked to my CDN services, and there I have told browser to pre-connect this particular URL and download all the critical resources which is being tagged with this particular domain. So that's why I haven't added to my font file here. So that's how you preload your fonts instantly and tell the browser to download this particular fonts. And for the WordPress part, you have a preload option, dedicated preload option here. First you need to active a preloading, obviously, and there is preloading of links, but you need to add a preloading fonts. So if you have a font file on your WordPress website, you need to have this preload fonts. And how does this work? This work by activating preloading, and afterwards, if you have a font file, just find that particular font file's URL and just add it here like this. Like if you have a font file like in your theme folder and where that font being uploaded, just tag that and click on save changes. So there you are good to go. So that's about it, how to preload fonts on your website. Moving on forward to the ads part. So we have done the images section, we have done the font section, we have done the video dimensions, etc. Now we are moving forward to the ads, which is the vital part of a CLS, Cumulative Layout Shift. So how to deal with the ads? Obviously you don't have to overdo the ads. Obviously if you overdoing ads, like you have adding a pop under to it, you have an intrusive interstitials to it, and you have ads mousing over to your text, then obviously it's a red flag for Google. And to add your ads to your website, your advertisement to your website, either it is banner or a preloader or something like that, you have to have a clear spaces added to it. Like if there is some ads on your website and it doesn't have required amount of spaces to it, like if you are adding in between your content or something like that, you need to have a space above and below to it. To deal with such thing, obviously ads most of the time being called from the third-party resources. And for the third-party resources, what we can do is, obviously you have an iframe to it, or you have a JavaScript which is being added on your website for the ad serving. To resolve that, one thing you can do is defer that particular JavaScript. We have already done in the first part, which is LCP, so you should go there and learn how to defer a JavaScript. You need to just add a defer code to it. And second thing is, on the WordPress user, you can delay JavaScript execution. And how to delay JavaScript execution? Go to the file optimization, and if you just move down to this delay JavaScript execution, if you have some files that being added on your server, or maybe you have a like Google Analytics or something like that. If I go to my website like this and click on view page source, and there might be a various JS files that has been installed on my WordPress website. If I just search for .js, so yeah, there it is. As you can see, type is being added a tag which is rocket lazy load script. So WP Rocket add a lazy loading to it. Also it adds a defer to it. But if I want it to delay more time such that my execution will be after a user get everything done or downloading all my HTML content, then you can add a delay JavaScript execution. And how to add it? Just copy this particular file here, right, like that, just paste down here. So it will detect every JS file that has been added to your WordPress server or a website. It will just delay that execution and your score will be improved by a lot. So that's the one method you can add for every advertisement or every JavaScript files out there. So just add that particular JavaScript file for the ads here, because I haven't added any ads on my website, so I can not tell you anything. And for the client part, they don't allow me to demonstrate that on my video, so that's their privacy. So that's how you can actually add a delay JavaScript execution on your website. So there must be a JS file of your ad serving. Just add that whenever a browser download their website, and then it execute this particular JavaScript to show ads on your website. Obviously if someone is entering on your web page and you don't want them to show just ads out there, not the main part of the content, obviously you want them to retain it to improve your bounce rate, and then they will click on your ads. So that's how it improves. So now moving forward to other embedding. Okay, maybe you have embedded YouTube to your website, or there may be a third-party embeds like a Dailymotion videos, or maybe ad serving from the iframes or something like that. You can also improve that by going to the media here, and there is enable for obviously lazy load enable for this iframes and videos. And for the lazy load part, I will create a dedicated video in this playlist, so you should go for it. For the non-WordPress website, how to add a lazy load for your videos, images and iframes. So, and for the WordPress part, you just need this particular plugin, and trust me guys, you will see a difference on your website's page loading speed and how to render to your end user. In the next and then last part about the animation. So for the animation, if you have animation added on your website, then ask your developer or a designer to use transform property more, or any CSS property more, keyframe property, transform property more than any JavaScript. Okay, and for all these animation you should apply from the CSS. Most of the time 90% of should be applied through the CSS properties like transform. I've already told you, then using any third-party script. So it just gives you a red flag to the Google. Okay, and maybe you are not spamming anything, but it actually gives red flag to the Google, and you need to improve that part on your website. So go to your designer. If you don't know how to do that, then just contact our team, and we will be happy to help to rank your website higher in search engine, also rank your CLS score more, also increase your CLS score on Core Web Vitals. So that's about it. So that's everything included in the CLS's Cumulative Layout Shift. And for each and every element that impacts such score, like here we have talked about the explicit height and width, which is a vital part of CLS. So there is also more elements that actually contributed to it, so we are going to explain that part in upcoming days. So that's about the introduction video, or I would say how to improve your CLS score on your WordPress or non-WordPress website. So if you have learned something from this video, or if you have any questions in your mind, you have a comment box with you. We will be happy to answer that in the comment box, or you can also contact us using the contact form which is being linked in the description box. If you want to learn more from our channel, then you have a subscribe button. So until then, see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.